Welcome to episode 122 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Hadamio.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hillary.
Hi. Oh, hold on. Let me get my notes up. First of all and most important.
Uh-oh.
Melissa motherfucking Lucio. Yes, bitch! Yes, bitch!
Yes! Oh my god. I was so, when you sent me that, I was
crying.
like, I cannot believe.
Fucking crying.
I was so worried about Abbott.
Yeah, but we didn't have to get near him, right? There was an appeals court that, like you had mentioned on the podcast last week. I was like, listen, this comes out that day. I don't know what's going to happen. And you said, well, we'll know by Monday. Well, sure enough, Monday, April 25th, the appeals court gave her a reprieve, or she is going to be able to go back to court, and this case is going to be tried again. And so we know the evidence. She's got that Innocence Project on her side, which is amazing lawyers. They've done all the research. They've got their evidence. They have to just let her
go home at this point.
Hopefully they'll let people testify.
And time served. Hopefully it becomes one of these, okay, time served.
Yes.
We're done.
Yes.
Or she's innocent.
Amazing. It's amazing. I can't tell you, these last 2 weeks, I thought about that woman so many fucking times. I was just out of my mind. Like, please, there's got to be a way that someone can save this woman. I can't take it.
If she is found innocent, then she could have a civil case against for being in prison for so long, right?
That would be amazing.
And losing her children.
This family
they deserve everything.
Yeah, so I'm fucking stoked. I think the Innocence Project takes donations, I believe. I'm fucking throwing money at those motherfuckers. Like this, what an incredible organization. And it's really fucking sad that they have to exist in the first place, because the justice system makes mistakes. It's not, all right all the time, And it's really why I think the death penalty should go away.
Yes.
Because many people have been executed who later on we find out really weren't fucking guilty. Right. Like DNA has cleared them. It's incredible.
It's frightening.
Frightening. Like anything where humans are involved, mistakes can be made.
Yes.
And so we have to really.
And with the death penalty, I'm going to shift this back to Florida. I don't know if we need to, but I was at a meeting last week, and it was actually, I think it was Senator Farmer was talking about some of the bills that are coming up. And one of them, he was talking about a lethal injection.
Oh, this is incredible. Did you know about this?
And
coming up, it just passed. This is
and like that the companies don't have to he was doing a legislative update.
Yeah.
And companies don't have to indicate what's in these injections.
Right.
And he gave a story of someone who it was hours of pain.
Yeah.
And no one should, we're not in the business of torture. I mean, even the thought of, they know that this injection's going in, I'm going to die, that is enough mental torture. I think, for a human being. But we got to abolish this death penalty.
Yeah.
And it's the Republicans who are pro-life.
Well,
the
point of that bill, and also the other bill that I know he mentioned, because I read the article and it was great, was that, and I'm not the biggest Senator Farmer fan, to say the least. He's my senator here, but I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest.
Right? No.
So the other bill he mentioned at that meeting was the transparency of public universities.
Yes.
And so the state has the say of who gets to be the president of Florida State or University of Florida, USF, all these different public universities, state schools.
Yeah.
And the process is always open and transparent. So if a president or somebody from another university like Arkansas is applying, that's all out in the open. It's known.
As it should be.
But they voted to make it private.
Yeah.
Make that process private. And there's no transparency. And the same thing with these chemical companies that make this injection. That's also going to stay private. And here's the fucking kicker, and why he brought that up is because there are Dems who voted alongside Republicans in the Florida Senate to keep those things quiet. Now, he went nuts at that meeting. It was a great article in the Sun Sentinel about Gary Farmer.
And he called out the Democrats,
saying that they're weak and all of these things, and he's not wrong. Except it's easy to do that when you're not running for re-election, Senator Farmer. It's very easy. Where were you 2 years ago? I've seen you at meetings and you weren't all together there. You were talking about how bad DeSantis is, and now you're not running for re-election. The Dems are bad. There's a way to do that. He was also thrown out on his ass last session. In the middle of the session, the minority party, the Dems in the Florida Senate, threw Farmer out as their leader and put in Lauren Book. And Lauren Book made us look weak. He's not wrong. Does he look bitter? Hell yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
But he's not fucking. He's also not wrong. So
yeah, I mean it's a mixed bag there because he made some points.
Yeah, well that's because he's the only one saying it. That's because he's the only one saying it because he doesn't have another job to go back to.
Right, and is he not going back to this job because he's bitter? That's what it feels
like.
Well,
they're redistricting him. They all these new districts, they wrote him right out. There's no way he could run again for that district. So now he's running for county judge. Because motherfuckers never go away.
I know.
Nobody, never say die. Never say die in Broward
County. Go to Margaritaville.
With your puka shell, bitch. But here's the other thing, like,
oh god.
There's a Broward Dem, Tina Polsky. She's a state senator here in Broward. Like, bro, you voted for this to keep this injection thing quiet. Why? There's other Dems that voted alongside her. These are two bills the Broward or the Florida Dems in the Senate could have stopped. They also could have called, in this article, they talk about it. The abortion bill.
I mean,
they had, Farmer said he talked to Republicans and there was 8 of them that would have, if they had did a roll call, if Lauren Book had called,
the button,
had called for a roll call, that would not have passed the Senate. Now, I don't know, like behind closed doors, what Republicans say is not the same of what they do on the floor. So who knows? But she could have at least made the call. There's things that Democrats could do to make us look less weak. We don't have power. We're never going to get power in the Florida House and Senate anytime fucking soon. Especially when there's no plan.
I don't understand. Like, I wish I could understand why that was a decision. Why not put it to the board vote? Why not make them push the button?
She probably thought there was no point. But there is a point to get them on the record. Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to at least do the things you can do, like Bobby DuBose told us. Ask every single question, get every single word on the record, because when that lawsuit hits, we're going to fucking sue them and use all of these things that they're saying this bill is for, that it's not going to be used for. You can use those in lawsuits. And so, like, what are you doing? I mean, it's the very least you could do as Democrats in the Senate. It's the very least you could do is stay together as a caucus. You're very small as it is. Stick the fuck together. Why don't you want it to be transparent, Tina Polsky? Why? What's the fucking point? I don't understand it.
Well, I think what he was saying was that maybe it's like brokering deals, like, we'll help you get this bill passed if you vote for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Chevron Jones, who's also a Florida State Senator, was mentioned. He had a quote in that article, and he's like, I respect Senator Farmer. He goes about doing things a little bit different than I do. He said, but I don't do that. He doesn't kowtow. He's like, I think he said, I might misquote, but like $30 million brought back to his district, and he didn't have to do anything like that. And he didn't. He didn't vote along with Republicans. So it's something else. Yeah. Maybe Polsky's getting money from somewhere. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. But I don't understand the reasoning. And here's the thing, Tina. No one will ever fucking ask her here. She will never show up to a Clubber Caucus meeting in this county and someone will go, why the fuck did you vote for that? Because Dems don't do that. You know what that's called if you dare to ask a question? Oh, we eat our own.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We're trying to hold these motherfuckers accountable so that when they go up there, they know that we're watching.
Yeah.
We see what you're doing. What is this? If you're going to take the vote, be prepared to answer the fucking question.
Yeah, because otherwise we're like Republicans who just fall in line, and I want to fall in line with Democrats, and I will vote for Democrats. But at the same time, as we talked about last week, we're not idolizing. These are people who are doing the work for us, right? We put them there as the people.
Yeah.
And we should be able to ask questions. We should be able to put pressure on them to do what we elected them to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And it's as simple as saying, I'm disappointed that you voted for this.
Yes.
That's it. Because these fuckers go up there and they do whatever the fuck they want. They do whatever they want.
Well, and then, oh God, I don't.
And by the way, before I get into Charlie Crist, because it's my weekly fucking thing to do. Before I get into that, let's not, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but at a press conference, Governor DeSantis said, before he leaves as governor, because I guess he's thinking when he gets reelected, he's going to sign a constitutional carry.
Oh yeah, I saw that
in the state of Florida, which means you can walk around
with no like firearms training.
Yeah, you can walk around with a gun in the state. Yeah. Now I got to tell you, that's so makes me more frightened than anything you could fucking imagine. Yeah. You think Florida man is like a joke? It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Florida man is out here. He's like walking around my neighborhood.
And
like,
guess what?
Florida man's real.
And guess what? The other thing that's real in Florida is the Proud Boys.
Yeah. Oh, forget about it.
I had that incident. I had an incident like a year and a half ago in the Publix in our grocery store parking lot where there was it was a clear white supremacist. He had the tattoos and like he had some crazy shirt on and he was harassing an older black woman. Mm. And I said, "Are you okay?" And he started cursing me out to stay the hell out of it. And she got to her car and he proceeded to follow me around Publix while I shopped, just like, every aisle I went in. I had to go to the manager and say, "This guy's following me. Like, I'm afraid to go to my car." Mm. And someone like that, I would be so much more afraid of now.
Yeah, if he had a gun out on his hip.
Yeah. My
what?
God.
What?
It's insane. What are we doing?
But it's such a dog whistle, too.
And we had Pulse. We had Stolen
Yes!
Like, the state of Florida, we have seen tragedy.
Oh, he just put
what are we doing?
He just put somebody on the school board, somebody I've never fucking heard of, some candidate for an office out in Coral Springs. He just put him on the school board to take the Rosalind Osgood seat.
Thank you.
And I went to his Twitter, this guy's Twitter, because he looks like he just signed up for Twitter. Like, I don't know where they're picking up rocks and finding people to put on these fucking boards. He puts this guy on the board. I go to his page. He's got a picture of him and his wife and his baby in front of the Capitol in Tallahassee. And it's all lit up with like these red lights. And it said, and he wrote on there, it's been so many years since the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas tragedy and the Capitol's lit up in remembrance. And I'm like, that has got to be.
Wow.
That has got to be the most fucking insulting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers have the balls to light up the Capitol with lights in remembrance?
Yes.
How about put fucking action? You are literally the lawmakers in this state and could do something in real remembrance to make sure that nobody ever loses their fucking lives in classrooms again.
Children.
And the fucking most you can do is put a fucking set of colored lights on the fucking building? You fucking cowards. You pieces of shit. God fucking forbid any of these motherfuckers lose a child this way or a loved one in a classroom. Could you ever fucking imagine? And the fucking Capitol, the people lawmakers say, I'm so sorry. Let me light the building up for you.
Yes.
Like it's Christmas. Fuck you. How fucking insulting. And then to take a picture in front of it and be like, this is a...
Yeah, no.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
It's weird.
Excuse me?
It's weird. It's weird.
You have so much fucking power. Could you imagine the majority party in this state and these are the things that you're choosing to do? It's incredible to me. The laws that they're choosing to pass, what they have coming up. This Reedy Creek thing, Disney has now been talking to their investors and that shit's getting out. It's hilarious.
He's such an idiot.
There's a $1 billion price tag on this that the state of Florida taxpayers are going to have to pay. There's a debt that the state owes to fucking Disney. And they said to their investors in a meeting this week, y'all just sit tight. They're good. We're good. Because they're going to have to pay us a lot of money to get out of this.
And
$1 billion.
We're not going to pay, and it's all going to go away. And he, with his little distractions, because everyone's focused on Disney.
We'll see.
We're not focused on.
We'll see. I don't know.
Him making the redistricting map. We're not focused on the housing crisis. Just the other day, they said that Florida, Miami, is now more expensive than living in New York City.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Like $4,000 a month for an apartment.
It is. How are young people? I
don't know.
I talk to my husband all the time. I'm like, if I was in college now, I would not be able to. I don't know how I would survive. I was able to pay my rent, have like a minimum wage, cheap job doing tutoring and stuff. Like I could pay my way. I don't. And still be able to like go out with my friends and have a car and.
It's fucked up. Here's the
$4,000. So even in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh yeah,
it's over $2,000 a month.
They're building all of these condos up and down Federal Highway,
and
all
they're
over
expensive.
downtown. Yeah, and I'm like, who's living there? Who can fucking afford to live there? I don't get it. And I think it's just a lot of maybe people rent them out like as Airbnbs. I have no fucking idea.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's fucked up. So we had the pleasure of being in the room with Charlie Chris last week, and he was 45 minutes late. And this guy comes out, and it was just you, me, and our friend, our EP, and he says to us, 45 minutes, it's really making me rethink. And I was like, hey. And then he goes, but who else we got? Nikki Fried, she doesn't even have name recognition.
Oh, you were so funny. You're like...
I turned to him and I said, she's the only elected statewide Dem in the last 28 years. What are you talking about?
And you said...
she's the head of her party.
Yeah, you're like, Her face is on every gas pump.
No, Alfredo said that. That's what Alfredo said. Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She doesn't have statewide name recognition. These old motherfuckers.
But they remember him from years ago. That's
right, because he's a
loser. And he's always running.
They know his name but he loses. You stupid fucks. You stupid fucks. You old motherfuckers.
People there liked him.
You're killing me.
And it wasn't just all old people.
I had to leave the room a couple times.
It wasn't only old people.
Okay. And
this is what I think. And I said this to you before. It is the Trump-Biden effect.
It's absolutely what it is.
Yeah, DeSantis.
It's absolutely what it is.
DeSantis is Trump.
Yeah.
And Christ is
because that's what he did. He stood
Biden.
there for 45 minutes when he finally decided to fucking arrive. He stood there for 45 minutes and just gave one-liners. Yeah, and he wants to ban books. And he hates Mickey Mouse. And they're like, fucking what? What? Then Tina's got the fucking balls to go up and be like, bro, what about the 15-week abortion ban? And he says to her, he looks at her face and he goes,
it's a three-pronged approach.
He goes, yeah, well, you know what I'm going to do when I get elected? I'm going to repeal that law. And people are like, woo! And I'm like, I'm like this.
I'm going to veto.
Can he do that?
Yeah.
Can he do that? Can anybody in the room find out if that's allowed?
The last one was, and it's going to go before a judge. And I was like, oh, all the Republican judges in the state?
He's a fucking Nimrod. And here's the best part. Later on, so he's telling us that this fucking thing, that he's about to get on a plane to go to Orlando. He's got an event in Orlando tonight. About to get on a plane, right? So later on that night, I'm on Twitter, picture of Nikki Fried.
With an empty chair, right?
Nikki Fried, and she's in Miami on a stage. There's 2 empty chairs next to her.
Oh my God.
The other person who's talking to her is Dwight Bullard. By the way, please, I want him on this fucking podcast so badly. I love Dwight Bullard. Fucking all hell love him.
Let's send an email.
They all RSVP'd to be there that night, and those 2 didn't show up. Annette Taddeo and Charlie Crist didn't show up. Now think about the planning that goes into those events, Tina, and the people who put the work in.
I mean, that's upsetting.
Yeah, and Dwight Bullard is involved in like labor and workers and unions.
It's disrespectful.
He didn't bother to show up. Now, who's making that schedule? Who's on your team that's saying you're going to be at all of these places?
It's too much because even with our event, he was late because he was doing. And I get it that's the campaign trail, right? But 10 minutes. Maybe 15, but 45 it's a lot.
And then he got there and he didn't give me anything. I want hope. You gotta give me something to believe in, and it can't be that DeSantis is bad. That's a fucking fact that every person who lives here, we already know. Give me something else.
Like
that's what I'm looking for in a candidate.
People asked him, questions about housing and things like that. It's hard to know like what's the lip service and what can actually be done. And
here's the best part: this fucking asshole. There's an asshole there. Younger guy. He's wearing a shirt with a Ukraine flag on it. First of all, can you stop already? Can you? No. I'm not saying stop supporting Ukraine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't go on the internet and buy a shirt and walk around. It's so stupid. You look so stupid. You want to support Ukraine? Get on a fucking plane and go fight with them. There's nothing you can do here. It's so patronizing and dumb. And so people say to him, "Oh, me too." Shut the fuck up with your dumb shirt. And here's also how I know he's dumb. He says to fucking Charlie Crist, to his face, 2 feet away from him, listen, I know you were a Republican, you were an independent, now you're a Democrat, and, it's okay. I can forgive that. I can let that go because you finally come to the right side. And Charlie goes, can you blame me? I mean, look at them.
Oh, my God.
I was like from that movie. What's that movie where the girl and she's got all
and the emotions.
Yes, and
I know what you're talking about.
Where his head fucking fire. I was like, what? And he's like, can you blame? This is the spin, motherfuckers. We are so desperate. You know what the Democrats are? They're that little ugly girl in the corner who nobody wants to dance with.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I mean? She's sitting in the corner and she's
there's
sweet.
A little bit of
she's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to dance with her.
No one realizes how amazing she is.
And the fucking grossest bully you've ever fucking seen walks over and hands you his hand. And you know it's a bad guy. You know he's a bad guy, right? But you're going to take his hand because he's asked you to dance. And that's what these fucking people do. They fall for this shit over and over and over again because they're so desperate. They're so desperate for anything. Meanwhile, I'm sorry. Nikki Fried put out a video that was so fucking good this week, and she's like, I'm not going to count.
Amazing.
She's like, I'm never going to stop fighting against DeSantis, special interests, and Dems that just want to walk some safe line. And I was like, that's
go,
right.
Nikki Fried. So the other thing, and this is like a stupid little thing that happened at that a meeting, a question that was asked. And it just, I feel like I don't know every single bill that has passed or, maybe the details. And someone was like, what are you going to do about financial literacy and making sure our students have financial literacy in schools? And he's, going on. And I was sitting there going, no, DeSantis just passed a bill about that. Like he just passed, but he didn't say, oh, well, that bill was already passed. That's, he was like, I'm going to make sure when I'm governor. And it's like, so you don't even know, like.
He doesn't say anything.
You know what I mean? Like he should have said, no, there's a bill like that's already been passed. And, I'll look at it and see,
There's a great video.
But you're running for governor. You should know everything that's been passed and going down. And even if it's a tiny thing like that.
You're expecting too much.
Because I'm like, if I know that, how come you don't know that?
There's a great video I retweeted. I'll have to fucking tweet it from the muck, but it's Charlie Crist standing on a stage with a microphone. At halfway through, he does this thing where he takes his jacket off to reveal his decrepit grasshopper body, and he takes his jacket off and he's like, oh, let me get comfortable. He's the oldest kind of politician ever. Like, I'm gonna be one of the people. I'm gonna take my jacket off. Fuck off. Fuck you. And anyway, there's a video and it's got the Seinfeld music in the background, like boom, but no. And he's on stage and it's like he's cracking jokes. It's this. And he wants to ban books, and people are like, woo! And then it's the same thing that we saw. It's like he's on stage giving a fucking show. Yeah. Except our lives and our well-being hangs in the balance of this fucking election.
And I get it. Because when Andrew Gillum was running, and I saw Andrew Gillum speak many, many times for different clubs in different places, and he's sometimes told the same story, because he's in front of different groups, and you have this is the thing that you're your
trying to appeal to these people,
right? And like you have the key things that you're going to say, and I get that, but yeah, this felt very surface level. Like I didn't feel a connection.
No,
I didn't feel a passion. I didn't feel like this is someone that is going to get rough and tumble and ready to
rough
get
and tumble. He'll break himself.
Yeah, I just he's just safe. That's the only thing is and
that so
no, and I don't even know if he's safe, but I think people think that he's safe.
They want to feel safe.
That moderates or independents who are like, oh my God, Nikki Fried's way too progressive.
Yeah,
will go, but I'll vote for this guy.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so I have been for the last few days just wrestling with this idea of, can I vote for Charlie Crist?
I'm going to. If he
in the general, can I vote? If he wins
in the general and not in the primary.
I got to tell you, I'm very much struggling with it.
Yeah, I can't have DeSantis. Like, it's the same thing. Like, we are in such danger.
I know,
and I'm so afraid. Like, at least there's veto power. At least, you know what I mean?
I know.
Something.
I'll end up having it'll take me 7 months to fucking get there.
And guess what? I'm probably gonna make phone calls.
Oh, I can't.
I'm gonna, whoever ends up being the nominee, I'm gonna just do my best to accept that nominee, like I did with Biden.
I'm not doing it.
I did the texting campaign with Biden.
You know what? I can't do it. I cannot and will not put my support behind someone like that. And if I can give him my vote, I will do my best when I get to the voting booth. But I'll tell you what, I'll be praying to fucking Lord Almighty to give me help, to help me with that fucking pen to get it there. I don't want him.
I really think Nikki.
It's insulting. It's insulting to me. I'm insulted. Yeah. And the thing that's fucking really fucking me up, and I sent you a text this week and I said, am I on another planet? Like, I don't get this. These lawmakers are tripping over themselves this week to endorse him, and I don't understand it. People I fucking deeply respect.
I think it's because, again, that are they looking at who can really win,
Yeah.
Like, is it that?
I don't know, but if that's the case, then that's what I mean. Like, I want to get there. I want to get to the place where I'm just like, well, he's our best option. But he's never been our best option. He wasn't our best option 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12. He's never been our best option. And it's just, it's wholly disappointing that the Florida Democratic Party cannot get their shit. They're so broken. They're non-existent. And so what we do is we take crumbs, and we deserve better than that. We deserve better in Florida than that.
We have Nikki Fried, who is young, she's smart, who's gone toe-to-toe with DeSantis already. who can, like she can hold her ground with him. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I feel like in a debate, like putting the two of them on a debate stage, I think that she would wipe the floor with DeSantis.
Absolutely. I have no doubt whatsoever.
I don't know how Chris will do. Chris might get through it because he's
a seasoned
You know what's going to
happen. No, he won't. Because all DeSantis has to say is, we don't know who you are. And it sways it. It makes it look mucky.
Right.
Charlie Crist is mucky. Fucking period. There's nothing else about him that makes sense to me. And I really want to get there. Because I don't want to live in a state where DeSantis is the fucking leader. We are in so much fucking danger. And I just feel like I'm on another planet. Like, I feel like, is there something... What am I not seeing that they're all seeing? I don't get it.
I think they just see money and safety. You know what I mean? They see that I don't know if he's raising more money than Nikki Fried.
No, he is. I think at this point he is. Yeah. But a poll just came out yesterday.
Oh, she's
April
ahead.
29th, and she's up 35 points. Yeah. And I'm like, who the fucking poll is this? What poll? Am I supposed to be looking at polls? Should I be scared about polls?
Ever since
Trump Clinton. I know. But still, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Is she fucking up 35 points? Because that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I think Charlie Crist is an empty fucking suit. And the reason I don't like him is because I think we deserve better. And I don't deserve a fucking half-assed Democrat.
That in his district, he's probably doing fine.
Why did he leave that seat?
I don't know.
Why did you leave? Why don't you want to be a U.S. congressman? My God, you get to go to D.C. You get to hang around with the fucking coolest people ever.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What is that? What is the psychology behind that?
He wants to be king. I don't know. Everybody wants to be
so,
king. It's blind ambition. It's blind ambition. It's just looking at what's good, what you want for yourself rather than the state.
Yeah, and there's people where you see them moving up in seats. You're like, oh, that makes sense. They're going to run for this. They're going to be this. Like, that all makes sense. This makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. And so that's what makes me question you. That and everything else. All your other failures.
It's going to be a tough season.
It is. All right, well, listen.
Are you ready?
Oh, I am ready.
Okay. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of the corrupt commission of Crystal City, Texas.
Ooh, I like when you do whole ass people.
Yes. All right. So Crystal City, Texas is a quaint little Texas town with a population of under 7,000. So teeny tiny. Mm-hmm. But when the FBI gets wind of a gambling operation, all bets are off for the town officials.
No, I'm not laughing at that. I'm not doing it. I saw that face and I was like, oh, she said bets and she got so excited. Look at her. Okay. So excited.
So this city council is similar to the one that I covered in the city of Bell, California, back in episode 39.
Great episode.
Is another incident of a town gone bad.
Oh, God.
And well, at least the town officials. So a fun fact is that Crystal City is known as the spinach capital of the world.
Ooh, I love me some spinach, honey. Call me Popeye.
Popeye the Sailor Man. That actually comes in later in a little fun fact that I'll share.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's located in the Winter Garden area of Texas, so it's near San Antonio.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just getting into it.
Let's go.
In 2016, the FBI arrested 5 town leaders for taking bribes. So essentially, they were accused of taking bribes from contractors. So you know how it is. Like, it's, you pay me, I'll make sure you get the bid to build whatever.
Yeah.
And do these projects throughout the city. Then there was the illegal gambling ring. So they took money from, and I'm going to try to pronounce this as best as I can, Gok Tri Gwaijin, but he was known as Mr. T. Mr. T. So,
I pity the fool.
I know, I pity the fool. So he wanted to set up what's called 8-liner gaming rooms. And I was like, what does that mean? And so basically, they're like the electronic slot machines, but they're not just slots. Like, they look like slot machines, but you could play poker on them and you could play different games. So it's like fun. That, like you see in the casinos.
I love those.
And Mr. T was also given tax waivers from the town.
Damn.
So no tax. He's setting up gambling rings throughout the town.
Nice.
And, you know, that was bringing in a lot of money.
Fucking house always wins.
Bringing in a lot of money.
Now, did he wear like big gold chains? Did he have a mohawk?
No, I don't know.
A killer ass fucking van, like the opposite of a rape van, but like a fucking cool ass van.
Oh my god,
Mr. T,
the A team.
Yes, bitch.
So, an Express News article noted that Mayor Ricardo Lopez was sort of the ringleader of the operation. So he was the guy that was like brokering these deals, but there were others involved. There was the mayor pro tempore, Rogelio Mata, the city manager / city attorney, James Jonas, council member Roel Mata, brother of the first,
it's all in.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And a former council member, Gilbert Orabazo. So basically, Gilbert was also like part of the gambling operation. So we have all of this happening. And then Mayor Ricardo Lopez also faced accusations of defrauding taxpayers of thousands of dollars that was used for, quote, unnecessary and frivolous trips. And that's always my favorite. It's like, I'm just going to go on vacation. I'll just take the town's money and have a good time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so, you got to be careful. You know, I think about that all the time. You know, you have to be very, very careful and keep your receipts. Everything's got to be open up. You can't just go on a trip and take money. Like, that is so stupid.
It's crazy.
And how do you think you're going to get away with that, bro?
And it's a tiny town. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like it's some huge city where maybe a small incidental spending money might be overlooked. You know what I mean? But in a small town, I feel like people, you know, would notice it more. Yeah. It's got to, you know, the budget's different, whatever. Yeah. So FBI agent Michelle Lee said that the operation took place over 2 years before the arrests were made. So they had kind of gotten wind that something, and I think it was residents of the town that were like, something's not right here. Yeah. And so they come in and they spend 2 years and then they make that arrest in 2016. And she says, quote, "It's something that we started in response to information that was provided to the FBI from the public. Without question, public corruption is the #1 criminal priority within the FBI. Here in South Texas, public corruption is something that we really need to focus our resources in effort to address." So she's like, this is what we do.
I love that public corruption's their #1 target. That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
Like terrorism? I don't know. Or is that CIA more?
No, maybe there's separate unit. I don't know. I don't know. But I would imagine though, public, because if you got to make sure that elected officials are not doing things that would harm our government. Yeah, so
and
maybe
state law, and they're all, they could be involved. You gotta have an outside.
So I want to talk about the city manager / city attorney. Which, first of all, how do you have both jobs?
They have to be separate.
Ladies and gentlemen, both jobs?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem.
Oh, so some folks took issue with his salary. And according to KUOW, he was taking in over $200,000 a year. So now, in a city like Fort Lauderdale, I would imagine maybe the city manager's making something like that. Maybe.
Probably, yeah.
It's a big city. Yeah. But a town of 7,000 people and you're making $200,000 a year?
Damn.
That's a lot of money.
Where are they getting that money?
Oh, okay.
The casino slots.
Richard Diaz, a later council member, stated, "All in all, our city manager was being paid over $250,000 a year. Jesus. Our whole tax levy for the city is $500,000. Can you imagine?
What the fuck? The boldness of this. This is fucking insane.
1/2 of the total taxes that the city
collected.
What's
this motherfucker doing?
Half of it. So now the city just has this other half to do all the shit it needs to do to run a city. And that's just his salary. Bro. So it turns out, according to the Texas Monitor, that Jonas was negotiating deals for those no-bid contracts to cover his salary. Wow. So again, we're in this tiny town. They don't have that big budget. This town's average median income was $15,400 a year.
Oh my god!
And he's taking in $250,000 of their money.
Holy shit, dude!
It's disgusting.
That is so fucked up.
It's disgusting,
bro. No.
Mm-mm. Oh my god!
Fucking lock this motherfucker up.
And this was one of my favorites.
This is the same state Melissa Lucio's in jail.
Yes, Texas.
You
Can
fucking
you get
idiots.
it together?
God damn it, Texas.
So this was really funny. This is really, yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Texas.
Oh my God. So Jonas tried to claim, this is so funny, that he lived a humble life and that he was living in a rusted out caboose that was abandoned in the middle of town. He's like, I don't have money.
Yeah.
I'm in a rusted out old.
He's got boxes of cash fucking stored in this fucking caboose.
Oh my God.
Caboose is the best word. Caboose.
Yes, caboose.
Honey.
So, but allegedly he was bilking the town. So for example, the town used to pay its city attorney, because remember, he's city manager and he's city attorney.
Right, so he's doing two jobs. So I was like, but
still. So they used to pay the city attorney $1,000 a month, right? Like, we're paying you without, because a city attorney, it's not a lot of work. Like, you have your normal job, and then you're coming into commission meetings, you're reviewing. It's not like you're every day. This is your life, kind of thing.
Right.
So $1,000 a month. Jonas comes in and starts charging $150 an hour.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So like, he's jacking up the cost. And then to cover his salary, what he did is there was this 2.25 million bond money for infrastructure, for the roads and to fix lights and various things in the city. And he placed it instead in a general fund, and he used that money to cover his salary.
Wow.
So he's just taking from a town that is not some wealthy little town.
Working class people.
Yes,
Yeah. Paying their taxes. This guy's taking advantage of everything.
Yes. And then the newly appointed city manager, after sort of all of this went down, Santos Camarillo, had this to say, quote, "The financial records, everything was a mess. Staff didn't know where they were going or what they were doing. So like everything was in shambles. Like the finances were in shambles.
Oh my God.
It was just like these new people came in and they're like, what do we do?
Oh my God, what a fucking disaster.
It's a disaster. And the judge presiding over the case told Jonas, "To hear how badly you left that town is shocking." A former municipal judge said, quote, "I think the whole town has gone crazy. This has never happened before." So Crystal City needs some crystals. They gotta heal themselves. They need something.
With the helicopter flying over.
They need something.
With the sage.
Oh my God.
Damn, you need a fucking exorcism in that bitch.
It's crazy. So in the end, all of this scheming, the gambling, the bond, all of that cost the city $3 million. This poor little town. This poor little town. All right, so the charges. The mayor, Ricardo Lopez, was charged with 1 count conspiracy to commit bribery, 1 count bribery. The mayor pro tempore, Rogelia Mata, 1 count conspiracy to commit bribery, 1 count bribery. The city manager, city attorney, James Jonas, 1 count conspiracy to commit bribery, 3 counts for bribery. The council member, Roel Mata, 1 count conspiracy to commit bribery, 1 count for bribery, and the same for Gilbert Orabazo. So there were also charges for wire fraud and theft of honest services. And theft of honest services is essentially like bribery involving like a public official. So the sentencing. The Department of Justice press release noted that Mayor Ricardo Lopez got sentenced to 97 months in federal prison, 3 years supervised release, and he was ordered to pay back the money he misused, which was about $24,000. And U.S. Attorney Bash had this to say, "Today, Mr. Lopez received a fair sentence for his betrayal of the public trust. This case is just one example of our office's unyielding fight against public corruption in Central and West Texas." Jonas got 35 years in prison.
Whoa!
And he was ordered to pay back $1,047,814.05.
Wow!
I was shocked.
That is insane.
I was shocked.
This judge is on fucking point, bitch.
I mean, they took money from a poor town and left them without any resources.
Fucked up.
My San Antonio Express News wrote that the former mayor pro tem Rogelia Mata was sentenced to 33 months. His brother Roel got 21 months and Gilbert Orabazo got 24 months, and they each had to pay $2,000 in fines. So the aftermath. This was kind of funny. In July 2020, Express News reported that the former mayor, Ricardo Lopez, filed for an appeal but was denied. The article notes that he felt the sentencing, restitution, and conditions of release were too much across the board. But you know what they say, don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Yeah, you lay down with dogs, you're going to get fleas, honey.
And one thing I found interesting was the article noted that the feds couldn't remove anyone from office. Only the voters could. So all these guys get in trouble.
Oh, no.
None of them want to leave their seat.
No.
They made bail and they did not step down. And the people of the town are like,
you're a nightmare.
What? Get out.
You're a fucking nightmare.
So citizens got together to petition for a recall, and a local citizen, Richard Diaz, managed to get 1,300 signatures, which in a town of 7,000 is a lot of signatures, right? But the council rejected it.
What?
Because it's about them, right?
Yeah, backwards around here. These people, then they have to accept their own fucking getting thrown back. God damn it, there's no other way.
Rejection, no, we're not doing it. And
yeah,
so
that's nice, bye, fuck off. We'll steal your money and we're going to sit here.
Yeah, we're going to stay here.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
You motherfucker.
Like, how rude. It's like a level, I don't even know.
Gina says, how rude. Yeah, because I gotta fill everybody in. Get in real close, let me tell you.
Yeah, tell me. They're assholes.
We don't matter.
Yes.
We don't matter.
Oh my God, they were upset. They took umbrage. They took umbrage.
We vote for things in Florida. We vote for things in the legislatures. Go, fuck you. You want to legalize marijuana? Go fuck yourself.
Oh,
you want previously incarcerated people to vote? Fuck you. Yeah. That's what Florida does. You want
common sense gun laws? No, not happening.
Sorry, we're not doing that for you. No, we're not doing it.
So they took the issue to court, and a judge, of course, ruled that they should leave their seats.
Yes. Get the fuck out. Nobody wants you. So, why would you want to stay there?
Well, and the judge...
Aren't you embarrassed about your behavior?
And the judge didn't didn't say you have to leave. We're going to have a recall election. And during that recall election, they all got voted out.
Oh, thank God.
And that guy, Richard Diaz, actually ended up winning a commission seat. The guy that started the petition, and he ended up running.
Good for you, bro. Yeah.
So, but it was during one of these commission meetings where they were like, Lopez, you got to go. Lopez was so pissed off, he storms out, and he ends up getting arrested because he, quote, incited a riot during a city council meeting recess. Because he starts fighting with people, and the police are like, yo, you got to calm down. And
Can you imagine? He's insulted.
Yes, he's storming out angry. And then when they arrest him, they find he has one pill. He's got a Vicodin on him. And they're like, this is an illegal substance, so he gets a charge for possession of an illegal substance. What an idiot.
Yeah, just go away.
You should have taken the Vicodin. You should have taken that Vicodin before the meeting.
Yeah, you dummy. You're supposed to take it.
It would have calmed you down.
It doesn't absorb into your skin through your pants.
Oh my God.
You put it in your mouth and swallow it, you fucking dummy. Oh my God.
Oh my God. And then the city was put on probation by the governor because of that.
They'll close your charter, right?
And that ended up precluding this town from applying for any grants or anything like that. So again, the whole town suffers because of greedy jerks.
Who want to stay in their seats.
I know. Oh my God.
This guy's living in a caboose. He's making $250,000 a year. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me?
Can you imagine? Where was he really living? I want to know.
But also,
he wasn't in that rusted out in the middle of town.
It would be hot though. If you meet a guy in a bar and he's like,
come to my caboose.
Yeah, I got a caboose. I'd be like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
All right, so some points of interest. That guy, Jonas, he was also a Democratic lobbyist before settling down in Crystal City.
Oh my
and
God.
He was also arrested back in 2010 for failing to pay child support. It's so much so that he ended up in jail for 3 months because of it.
He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
Another thing I found interesting, there are actually a couple interesting historical tidbits about this town, and one of them was back in 1942 during World War II. Crystal City had an internment camp for German, Japanese, and Italian immigrants.
Whoa!
The camp held up to 4,751 people. And just a side note, the Italians were not held as long because after the fascist regime ended in 1943, then they released the Italians, but they kept German.
Ooh, girl, we got a lot of shit in this fucking country.
Crazy.
Well, that's more than half the people in that town.
Yes.
Jesus.
Another point of interest is before the scandal broke and before the FBI arrested those council members, there was another council member who was arrested the month prior to the arrest, and he was arrested for human smuggling. And he was hired to bring illegal Mexican immigrants over the border, and he got busted.
Oh my God. This town is so fucking off.
I know. I mean, I appreciate maybe what he was trying to help people, you know, and he wasn't mixed up with this other, I don't know, but, and then during this time, this is the other thing. So like all this is going on, right? They've spent all this money. They're paying attention to themselves and not to the town or the people of the town. And the water in Crystal City was not crystal clear.
What?
So black tar.
What?
Black tar substance is coming out of the faucets, right? And people are like, what's going on? Nobody from the city notified residents that they were going to be cleaning out the water tower because it needed to be fixed. And when they drained it, they realized this hasn't been cleaned in like 30 some years. So there's all this like residue that was coming through people's pipes and nobody was warned about it. No one was told about it. And it's like, you should be doing your job.
Yeah, they're busy. They're busy. They're too busy fucking counting their dough.
It's ridiculous.
Holy shit, that's fucked up.
And
by the way, Flint still doesn't have clean water.
I mean...
Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water.
What are we doing in this country?
Yeah, that's still not a thing.
And my last thing, which I thought was funny, that you mentioned at the top, is that the Crystal City town logo is a picture of Popeye, the sailor man, with a can of spinach.
That's hot! All right,
I'm including in the pictures because it's just
Crystal
so funny.
City. Like you have redeemed yourself.
It's like Crystal City, Texas, and Popeye's like, you know, with his can of spinach.
Oh.
It's so, and they have statues of Popeye in the town.
Yes,
they love their spinach and their Popeye.
I fucking love spinach.
And that's it. That's the story of how the Crystal City Commission gambled their town's money away.
Oh my goodness, Tina, amazing.
A little short and sweet, baby.
It is short and sweet. Mine is going to be short and sour.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Oh, no.
I'm very sorry in advance for this. But, you know, I don't like sad stories, but I'm doing it because I have to. Today I'm covering climate activist Wynn Bruce.
Okay.
So Wynn Bruce was a 50-year-old man from Boulder, Colorado. He grew up in Minnesota where he played varsity cross country. He's on the varsity cross country running team. In the late 1980s, he moved to Florida to live with his mother, attending Hernando High School, where he was a member of the science club. He graduated high school in 1989 and planned to join the U.S. Air Force, but an accident in a car driven by one of his friends killed a friend and severely injured Bruce. And he suffered traumatic brain injury, as well as damage to one of his legs. But he survives, right? So he moves to Boulder, Colorado in the year 2000 and became interested in photojournalism. He lived alone in Boulder and he had a cat.
Oh my God.
He was a Buddhist, and while living in Boulder, he practiced Shambhala Buddhism. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I apologize. He was a photojournalist who ran a portrait photography studio and an active member of Boulder's Contact improvisational dance community.
What?
And a graduate of Fort Range Community College and Community College of Denver. And additionally, he was a climate activist.
I love all of this. So he's dancing, he's taking pictures, he's living his life, and I just imagine him in like the Colorado mountains.
Yes. What a beautiful fucking state, by the way.
Yeah, and then he's like meditating.
Yeah. So according to his father, Douglas Bruce, he said, quote, concern about the environment and climate issues was always really heartfelt and central to Wynn Bruce's identity. And he had been a lifelong commitment that began in childhood trips to a family cabin in Lake Superior. So,
all right, so
I want to talk a little bit about climate change. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that I am not the biggest environmentalist. If I were to make a list of things, it would not be anywhere near the top. And I know that you are. I know that it's a big thing for you, the environment. I mean, and living in Florida, I'm very like incredibly embarrassed about that. But the environment, I mean, I recycle, I try to use less water, like I do the things that I know I can do, but I also feel like it is a monster of an issue that needs to be tackled from the top down. And we can do what we can at this level and try to bring awareness to it and do what we can like in our homes. But this is things that the government and I think corporations really need to get a hold of because it's more their level of like
regulations. Regulations.
But I believe in climate change. How about that? I'll tell you that. So a little bit about climate change because it is a real thing.
Yes.
If you listen to this podcast and you don't believe that, then I'm gonna just tell you a couple things about climate change. I think we definitely feel effects here. I think anywhere in the world that you live, you'll feel effects from climate change. The hurricane numbers have gone up an incredible amount. And it's because of the heat in the Earth's atmosphere. But okay, here we go. So climate change includes both global warming and its impacts on Earth's weather patterns. There have been previous periods of climate change, but the current changes are distinctly more rapid and not due to natural causes. Instead, they are caused by the emission of greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide and methane, and burning fossil fuels for energy use creates most of these emissions. Cars,
yes,
factories,
even our cows, even
cows farting.
Being a vegetarian is a good contribution.
That's me. So agricultural, steel making, cement production, and forest loss are additional sources of climate change. Greenhouse gases are transparent to sunlight, allowing it through to heat the Earth's surface. And so when the Earth emits the heat, I know this is science. I'm definitely Mrs. Frizzle this week, bitch. So, when the Earth emits that heat as infrared radiation, the gases absorb it and traps the heat near the Earth's surface. And as the planet heats up, it causes changes like the loss of sunlight reflecting snow cover, amplifying global warming. On land, temperatures have risen about twice as fast as the global average. Deserts are expanding while heat waves and wildfires are becoming more common. Increased warming in the Arctic has contributed to melting permafrost, glacial retreat, and sea ice loss. Higher temperatures are also causing more intense storms and other weather extremes. Rapid environmental change in mountains, coral reefs, and the Arctic is forcing many species to relocate or become extinct.
Oh my God.
I'm just laying it all out here for you guys. This is like a real thing. Climate change threatens people with food and water scarcity, include increased flooding, extreme heat, more disease, economic loss, human migration, and conflict can also be a result. The World Health Organization calls climate change the greatest threat to global health in the 21st century. And even if efforts to minimize future warming are successful, some effects will continue for centuries. Yeah. And these include sea level rise and warmer, more acidic oceans.
And I mean, just to bring it back to Florida, like we have our aquifer, we have, we depend on, Lake Okeechobee, and with red algae blooms, with all of this stuff, it's all a direct result of climate change. And when you don't have a functioning water supply in your state, what are you going to do?
Yeah. We will all be Flint.
Yes.
So a working group within the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change had recently released its Climate Change 2022 Mitigation of Climate Change report as part of the IPCC 6th assessment report, stating that action to reduce the most extreme effects of climate change would need to happen, quote, now or never, end quote. And the leader, Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General to the United Nations for the United States, he criticized, saying, quote, a litany of broken climate promises, quote, by world leaders. Like, this is what they do. Yeah. NATO, they say to NATO all the time, that United Nations, that they're going to do something, and then they never do anything. Oblivious to most people, at least, climate-related natural disasters and other crises are increasing, and in Bruce's home of Colorado has experienced its most destructive wildfires ever in December of 2021.
Yes.
In February 2022, the Supreme Court of the United States heard oral arguments for the case West Virginia versus EPA. The court's decision on the case could limit or revoke the ability of the United States Environmental Protection Agency to regulate carbon dioxide emissions, and the conservative majority on the court has indicated that they may do so. So
I know what this is about.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So the court additionally has other upcoming environmental cases on the docket. Okay. So it's going to get dark really quickly, and I apologize. I had a very hard time writing this. I cried a lot. It's really fucking sad. And
yes.
Okay. So Bruce, Wynn Bruce, had expressed intense concern about climate change on his Facebook account, sharing related news articles and praising activists including Greta Thunberg. Sorry. We all know who she is with that yellow raincoat and the sailboat. As early as April 2020, he used the account to decry public inaction in response to the climate crisis. On October 30th, 2020, Bruce posted a link to an edX class focused on the science of climate change. In April 2021, he commented on that same post it just said 411. In October of 2021, so 6 months later, he edited the comment and he added a fire emoji. On April 2nd, 2022, he edited again and he wrote 4/22/2022. Okay? So he's editing the same comment on the same post about climate change.
So it was 411?
it first said 411, like information.
Like information.
Then the second time he added a fire emoji. And then the third time he added a date, which was April 22nd, 2022.
Okay. Oh, okay. God.
So additionally, in January 22, Bruce posted a photo of anti-war activist Thich Nhat Hanh, who wrote in 1965 on the self-immolation of Buddhist monks that, quote, to burn oneself by fire is to prove that one is saying is of the utmost importance, end quote. Bruce later commented on the post with a quote he attributed to Hahn, and it said, quote, the most important thing in response to climate change is to be willing to hear the sound of the earth's tears through our own bodies,
wow.
end quote.
I'm like, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, so here we go. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. So at 6:30 p.m. on April 22nd, 2022, which is Earth Day, Bruce approached the plaza of the United States Supreme Court building on foot. He sat down and he self-immolated, which is he lit himself on fire.
Oh my God.
On the steps of the United States Supreme Court. According to a photographer who was present at the scene, Bruce sat upright and did not scream or cry out while on fire for a period of about 60 seconds.
Oh my God.
After which police extinguished the fire. Only after the fire was out did he audibly express pain.
Oh.
Police officers used traffic cones to scoop water from a fountain in the plaza to extinguish Bruce.
Oh my God.
And nobody else was injured. So minutes after the self-immolation, he was airlifted to a hospital by a helicopter belonging to the National Park Service, and he died the following day as a result of his injuries, and he was 50 years old.
My God.
The Supreme Court, police, United States Capitol Police, and Metropolitan Police Department closed the area surrounding the plaza to the public, citing the need for further investigation, and 2 streets were briefly closed but reopened by the following day.
This did not get the national attention that it needed.
I didn't hear about it until 4 days later. I saw a tweet and someone said, somebody just lit themselves on fire 4 days ago on the Supreme Court, and I didn't have any idea. And I said, what?
Yeah.
And I looked it up and I was like, holy shit.
It's so funny because I had heard this, and I was going to do a story on Norman Morrison, who did the same thing in Washington, D.C. in protest of the Vietnam War.
Jesus.
And there's 3 really beautiful poems different poets wrote about that at the time. That's how I'm familiar with it, because I was familiar with the poems, and then I had, But it's a level of sacrifice to bring awareness, and the fact that he did this to bring awareness and no one said anything is awful. It's awful that he did it to begin with, but like nobody cares.
I know.
You know what I mean? They're watching their reality TV. They're not paying attention to something like as grave and serious as this man took his life because he's so worried about the plan. I mean, I don't know why. I can't understand it. I guess if he is Buddhist, I don't understand like that aspect of the religion.
Yeah, like is this enough to make a change? Nobody talked about it.
No one talked about it.
Nobody brought it up. I didn't see anything there's nothing in the paper.
No.
Nothing in the paper.
And I wonder why. Is it nothing in the paper because they don't want a repeat? You know what I mean? Is it, you know what I mean? Like where when you bring attention to it, then it's going to cause others to do it, and they want to kind of not glorify.
I think that
this act, which I get. Like, why don't we? It should not. I mean, he should not. I don't think he should have done this. We're not
glorifying this.
Yeah,
but at the same time, maybe we're so
was there
numb.
Something else that he could have done?
Maybe we're so numb to it too. We're so numb to this idea of like violence. Which is what it's violence on himself.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's
I think
horrific.
It's fucking horrific. And there's pictures, but I will not be including them in my notes. You want to go find a picture? He's just sitting there on fire. I will not include that.
Horrific, and his family. I mean,
it's just horrifying. It's absolutely fucking horrifying.
And I just wonder if he tried to talk to his. I don't. It's like. And I feel like he did this for people who don't give a shit.
Yeah. And I wonder what these Supreme Court justices, how are they affected by this? How, does this mean anything to them? Do they understand the gravity of the situation? Oh, I mean, I know he's one person, but like, what do you understand that this is something that was so serious to this person? And there's a mental health thing.
Let's talk about that
for a second. Like, this isn't something like I feel very passionately, believe me, about a lot of things. I don't see myself doing something like that, but there's something else going on, obviously.
Yes, that's what I mean. I mean, they're clearly to do, something like that. It just, I mean, what are we going to do? And again, I'm today is just bringing it back to Florida Day. Keep bringing it back to Florida. But, in our state, in the last session, we have a governor who's just dog whistling everywhere, right? Everything's a dog whistle when we have serious issues like the climate in this state. Like, just do the work that you're supposed to do. I'm sure that there are plenty of Republicans who are living in wealthy East Coast areas that are constantly flooded, that they constantly feel the impact of this on their property value and everything else, that they would probably go along with some sort of regulation, with something to help. But they're so caught up in the messaging of anything. If they say, oh, we're going to help the climate, that somehow like now you're a leftist. You know what I mean? Like, this should not be a partisan issue.
Yeah. I mean,
it's stupid. If Republicans want to talk about
and if you want to talk about the economy, if you're a Republican, you want to talk about the economy, the way this impacts our economy here is it's devastation, absolute devastation. So, okay, so while no suicide note or manifesto was located after Bruce's death, friends of his stated that he was protesting inaction with regards to the climate crisis. A climate scientist and Zen priest named Kriti Kanko, who was a friend of Bruce, asserted on Twitter that he had likely been planning the self-immolation for a considerable length of time, at least a year. I mean, he was putting those comments up, right?
I mean,
and he said that it was not a suicide, but rather, quote, a deeply fearless act of compassion to bring attention to climate crisis, end quote. I mean, so he later clarified, and he said he wasn't completely certain of Bruce's motivation for self-immolating, but he and other leaders of the Rocky Mountain Echoed Dharma Retreat Center subsequently released a statement asserting that no Buddhist teacher in Boulder had pre-existing knowledge of Bruce's plans, and stating that while they had never, quote, talked about self-immolation and, quote, do not think self-immolation is a climate action, they understood why someone might resort to self-immolation, and they said, quote, given the dire state of the planet, worsening climate crisis, end quote. There's a thing I looked up that it's called climate grief, which is what people feel, and you know who's feeling it the most? Our children. Our children are feeling it the most. Like, we've always been putting this on the next generation, next generation. And like, these kids,
we've destroyed everything.
Like Greta, are having to, so their whole lives are about this because we have fucking ruined this planet for them.
We have.
And then there's a thing called climate grief, which is what this guy had.
We've ruined the economy. We've created an oligarchy in America with the hugest wealth gap. It's like we can't play nice with anybody. It's disgusting.
Yeah, well.
And then these poor children have to grow up in this world of garbage.
Yeah. And there's no heroes.
No.
I think that's the most depressing part for me is I don't want to put politicians on a pedestal. Like, they're not heroes.
No.
Every people that we fucking know that do that work.
They're humans, which is what they should be human.
Yeah. But there's right things and there's wrong things.
Because once you're up on a pedestal, you don't give a shit, right? Yeah. You're too big. You're the only thing that matters. If you're down below with everybody else, then you have some empathy.
And I wish they were more honest about that. Like, be more honest, Charlie Crist and everybody else who runs for seat. Farmer, right? You're running for seat to seat. Farmer is a lawyer. Gary Farmer's a lawyer. You could totally go open. If he has his own practice, he can continue to practice privately and go about his life, and you will be as respected as a state senator as you ever were. But you got to be a judge now. So it's like, I don't understand. Like, can we just be honest and say, you like being an elected official?
Yeah.
That you like the adoration. You like you like people coming up to you and being like, "Hi, it's so nice to meet you. Oh, that's so cool. Like, I voted for you."
And we have people that we absolutely adore and, have fangirled over.
Of course.
A meeting and I get that. But like,
But look at Jane Boland, who I absolutely love, not going to run for re-election in Oakland Park, City of Oakland Park. That's fine. She's a fantastic leader, and she's the kind of person we need to run again.
Yes.
But she's had enough working in it that she understands where she can be the most effective, right? Yes. And so she's not going to run again. She's going to work within the city to be the most effective as a resident of that city.
That's what I wish we did more of. I wish we did more of having those honest conversations and saying to someone, you know what, this isn't the right seat for you to run for.
Yeah.
You know, and having those honest conversations but there are people in this community, in these political communities, that they have their own agenda and they're going to push and say, no, you should run for it, right? Because they have their own agenda that they want to.
Yes.
And none of that is for the best interest of the community.
P.S. At that Charlie Crist event, you know who came walking in is that cutie patootie. What's his name? Ben Sorensen.
Oh.
Oh my God. Oh snack, honey.
Yeah, he was there. Did you see what else happened during that meeting? There was the guy, he's the host of The Circus on CNN.
I don't have time for
But
this.
when he walked in, I was like, what is going on? Because first of all, there was all these like camera crews everywhere. And the guy walked in where he
you see that giant step to come into the room?
Yeah, he took this giant step and he held his leg up mid-step, but he's like 6'5". So he's standing there, and then it was like, and then he put his foot down and came in.
I was gonna make an entrance.
I was like, what in the heck is that? And so they must have like filmed that, like that's like his little clip that he wanted. But
whatever.
I was like, who is this guy? Why? What is happening?
Stupid. Well, Florida's a fucking joke. Florida's a joke. Of course they're following Charlie Crist around. He's the king clown of the fucking candidates. Fucking circus. You got that goddamn right. Anyway,
King Clown.
Let me finish this and then we can bullshit.
Sorry. I thought we were done. Okay.
No, there's a little bit, just a little bit more. Oh, Tina. Extinction Rebellion activists stated that Bruce, quote, died to raise the alarm on the climate and ecological crisis, end quote. His father, Douglas Bruce, also attributed the self-immolation to the climate crisis, saying that, quote, this was a fearless act of compassion about his concern for the environment, end quote. As of April 24th, 2022, this just happened last week. Yeah. The Metropolitan Police Department had opened an ongoing investigation and had not yet determined Bruce's motives. Officials were still working to determine a motive as of April 26th. So,
wow,
4 days ago. And that's the story of climate activist Bruce.
All right. That's terrible.
It's awful.
It's terrible.
Just call me Tina. I'm bringing you the sad stories this week.
Oh my God. It's just... that poor family.
I know.
That poor family. Oh my God. Oh, my anniversary was this week.
Oh, Tina! Happy anniversary!
We both forgot.
What year are we on?
14.
Bitch, yes.
I know.
God bless. I think around year 10 or 11, the real, like, mental illness of marriage sets in. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're either in it and you're going to fucking throw yourself into this thing and you're, like, attached, which you all are. You love each other so much. And then, or you start to go, what the fuck's happening? But
my God.
This is when you start to get entwined. You know, your parents, my parents, they're like one person.
Yes.
And they're lunatics together.
I know. God, I can't even imagine. But my mother sent me a text, happy anniversary, and I was like, I'm gonna read you something funny, because my husband and I happened to be texting, and he was making me laugh, and then she texted in the middle of it, happy anniversary, and I was like, oh, by the way, it's our anniversary, and he's like, oh my God, because we both completely forgot, but we were laughing about martial law from Marjorie Taylor Greene, because she spelled it Marshall, like Marshall, right? She spelled it wrong, and everyone's been making fun of it. So he's like, I suppose the gazpacho would enforce it. And then he goes, do you think she believes in the separation of church and state? What about Carmen Miranda rights? And he goes, she thinks habeas corpus is a spell in Harry Potter.
This is why they're going to be married. They're going to be married for the rest of their lives. You understand? Two nerds.
Two word
nerds.
Nerds.
All right?
I was laughing so hard. Oh my God. I was like, those are so cute.
If my husband texted me that, I'd say, it's time to get divorced. Again, divorce.
Oh my God.
You two nerds. I love it. And then let's not forget that we were at the art show.
Oh.
And her son's texting her about he's playing boggle with his grandmother. And he's arguing with Tina about, isn't this a word I can use in boggle? And Tina's like, no, it should be this word. I'm like, I said, so you're also raising nerds.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Nerd crew.
It's a fucking nerd crew in the heart of the house. I love it. We need more nerd families. I'm here for the nerd family.
Oh my god. And yeah, so my husband actually came out for an event.
Amazing. So cute.
So
and Tina, the tall, handsome. He's got this big hair. And he's so tall and handsome.
Oh my god. And it was so funny because I'm like, here's this one, and here's this one, and here's this one. And he's like, you know so many people. He doesn't like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So he was.
And Alfredo put him behind the bar. So
which
he was
is
very
perfect.
happy.
Yes. Yes.
He was thrilled.
Yes.
Yeah, he did great. And then he got all the art that he wanted. And
yes, we put it up.
Yes. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I still don't know what I'm doing with all my stuff.
Yeah. It was beautiful artwork.
Ooh, say congratulations to me.
Congratulations!
I just made my first mortgage payment.
Woo! That's so exciting!
Yeah, I hit pay and I was like, okay, another 30 years, but we're doing it!
Wow!
Only 30 more years, I'm going to be chained to this motherfucker.
Oh my god.
I'll be underwater. I'm 1.5 miles from the beach, so I'll be underwater before this house is paid off.
Same with me. Same with me.
I'll be swimming to visit my house.
Well, hopefully,
yeah.
You know, our state can help us with, you know, the property tax, because I think they're going back in for some special, another like session dealing with
you know what, and that's
property taxes.
Yes,
and I'm afraid.
Insurance.
And insurance.
But you know what? That's when they're going to add
I'm afraid.
That's what he's going to add in the constitutional carry.
Yes.
Go find out that morning.
Yes.
They're going to be also doing constitutional carry.
It's ridiculous.
And if anybody from the outside can help us, can you please send somebody? We need the fucking Terminator.
SOS.
Yeah. Send the Terminator from the future to come back and do something about this shit.
We need someone.
Just knock some heads together for me.
Yeah, who can save us?
Dude, they asked DeSantis at that press conference about this $1 billion tax bill that we're all going to have to fucking pay as taxpayers, and he says, Disney's too woke. That's what he said!
He's such a jerk.
Disney's too woke. What?
You know what?
I'm broke, but I'm broke for paying these fucking taxes, bitch.
Oh, the only good thing that'll come out of this is that maybe, like, all Republicans will ban Disney, and that'll never happen.
No. Have you seen the people? Stupid. I know you've never been to Disney, but bitch, the last time I was there, it was like white backwoods.
Yeah.
You know, with their Walmart Disney shirts and their fucking teeth trying to eat that damn candy apple in line for Small World. I was like, honey, what has happened to fucking Disney?
Yeah, no.
They're never giving up on that. They love it. My favorite Disney story ever is during COVID, like right when they reopened COVID, this family from Louisiana spent $28,000.
Where?
$28,000 to come to Disney.
What?
It was like a family of the husband, wife, kids, cousins, all these people, right? $28,000. They stayed at Disney resorts. They bought tickets to all the parks. You know, they went like all out for this family vacation. Okay?
$28,000.
$28,000. They get to the gate. The family refuses to put masks on.
No.
And they told him, you can't come in. This guy lost his fucking mind. Like, because he wouldn't put a mask on. And they didn't go in.
No.
Did not go in.
So they spent $28,000.
Yes.
And they did. What idiots.
Because, listen, this shit adds up fast.
Disney will take that money. Oh, well.
Yeah, bye. And then they give it to all the Republicans.
So stupid.
Fuck you, Disney.
Ooh.
You know what, Disney? They're always going to sit comfortable. Here's the problem. He's picking the fight with the largest private employer in the state of Florida. What are you thinking? What is he thinking? It's fucking insanity.
He's thinking of the presidency. He doesn't care. Because he knows, what's he going to say? I went up against Disney. I went up like, I'm going to fight. That's who I am, right?
Wow.
That's what he's going to do. And everyone's going to be like, yeah, so screw Disney.
You know the worst part about this episode? That the computer's blocking my tits.
Woo! Hey.
Hi. Sorry, Teeny, I've had to look at my tits all day. Eat it! Make them eat it is what I say, Tina.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it.
Bye.